La 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 la.
I'm Camille WHO Armstrong, also known as the Performing Arts Renaissance Woman. For over 40 years, I've lived and breathed creativity as a performer, educator, consultant, and coach. I've had the honor of guiding students, mentoring parents, and raising children of my own, all while building a life rooted in purpose, passion, and love. Whether I'm in a classroom, on a stage, or behind the scenes, my heart has always been for the next generation. And I believe it all begins at home with the people who raise them. This series is for you. Whether you're expecting, learning as you go, or parenting for the second or even third time around, I'm here to share the insights, tools, and real talk I've gathered over 4 decades of hands-on experience. Welcome to Camille WHO, the Child's Whisperer. I'm so glad you're here. I hope that what I share supports you, challenges you, and empowers you on your wild journey of parenting. Hi, everybody. Camille WHO here. All right, this episode is about bottles and dishes and laundry because those are never ending. And then when you have a baby that comes into the picture, guess what? It's got to get done somehow. So I have a couple simple systems that you can take on if you'd like. I'd like to share them. They're tried and true when it comes to myself and my children. It's tried and true when it comes to myself and taking care of other people's children and just helping other people whose children I've cared for, helping them to really just manage life a little bit better with a new baby and the extra handful that will entail or that will create. Okay, so with bottles, if you're bottle feeding, let's just say that, because obviously you're not using bottles, but maybe you're pumping, and so that you can alternate between bottle and nursing so that mom and dad can both have this nurturing experience with the baby. In that case, if you are using bottles, here's just 3 steps you can follow to sort of keep bottle washing and bottle managing more manageable. All right. First, you want to, well, this is not necessarily step 1, but just before you get to step 1, have a space. Like there's bottle drying racks that you can get probably on Amazon. Set up a basin or make sure you have a clear sink to work in. Basins are great because you really save a lot of water. You can have one basin with soap water and submerge the bottles, and the bottles can soak, and then the next basin can sort of hold just plain water. So when you do the scrubbing, you put it in there, and then you do like the full rinse. Some people get bottle sterilizers, and so you can put your now clean bottles in the sterilizer and then sterilize them. I think you can sterilize them overnight or at nighttime or whatever, once a day or once every couple days. However you wish to do that, that's up to you. Make sure you have those scrubbers. They have nipple scrubbers, and they have the the bottle scrubbers. So step 1, rinse and put aside. After the baby is done being fed, you take the bottle, you go straight to the sink, whoosh, just rinse it out so there's no sitting milk, because sitting milk means like grossness. It becomes rotten, it smells bad, it's harder to get inside and wash. You bring it to the sink, you do a quick rinse out of the nipple and the actual bottle, put it in a caddy, something that holds this bottle until it's time to wash the bottles. So that is just a nice habit to have, okay? After every feeding, boom, boom, boom. You just rinse, you put it aside. You rinse, you put it aside. By the time you get to the evening time, so say this is after dinner. I mentioned this in one of my videos with teamwork, while one parent is feeding the baby, the other parent is washing the bottles. So at this point now, you have pretty much all of the bottles, maybe except for the one that the baby's using right now. Not a big deal. But you have mostly all the bottles that the baby has used all day. And you take those, you soak them in that soapy water. So now you are scrubbing those bottles and you get them all rinsed up, changing that plain water, get some more plain water. However you do it, go for it. So after you've washed those bottles, then you can do another switch off. You're now going to be the one that handles the midnight feeding. The one who just fed the baby will then, before they go to bed, make new bottles. Now this is key. You make those new bottles for the middle of the night and for the next day. You just grab it in the middle of the night. You can be like half asleep. You grab that bottle, you warm it up, you're done. Okay, and then you just do a rinse and put it aside. You don't have to do extensive washing or anything like that. But this is a nice system to sort of cycle in those bottles, get those bottles done. You have bottles already made for the night. You don't have to worry about and think about. You don't have to make any bottles while you're half asleep. It's already done, and you just keep the bottles clean all of the time. Some people do sterilizing, and you can sterilize, I don't know, once or twice, once a night, or sometimes people do every couple nights, sometimes every 3 nights. Totally up to you. That's your 3 steps. Dishes. Oh, dishes. Now, I used to say I have dishwashers. They're my children. But before they were at the age of washing dishes or eat, I wasn't a fan of having a dishwasher. Why? Because you have to fill it up. And then after that, you gotta wash things, right? You have to put it to wash. But then after that, you can't put anything else in there. Like, you get so used to putting stuff in there, right? Instead of just washing your own dish, washing your own cup, your glass, instead of doing that and not having a dishwasher full of dishes, now you can't even put anything. You get so used to just putting everything in the sink or putting stuff in the dishwasher, but that you want to put something in the dishwasher, you can't because it's full, because there's the extra task of taking the things out and putting them where they belong, right? Well, instead of doing that, and I would suggest that you create these habits before you have the baby. By the time you have the baby, this will be a habit. And my aunt used to say, a habit is a habit, and everywhere you go, you have it. So you start the habit. It really takes about 7 days if you're consistent. And you just continue that habit. And by the time the baby comes, you already have this rhythm that you don't have to think about it. You don't have to stress about it. You just do it. You have the rhythm. You have the who's taking turns and who's doing what, and you just, and it's just less stress, people. We don't want more stress raising a baby. We want less stress. Okay? Stressful. It's a high stressful situation already. All right. So let's see. You have okay. 3 steps to just cleaner dishes and a dishwashing system. Once you eat your food, put it in the sink. Put some soap and water in the dish or the plate or the cup, whatever. You're eating food or drinking, whatever it is. Whatever dish you use or plate you use or cup you use, glass you use, put it in the sink, a drop of soap, water, okay? Fill it up. The next time you come to that sink, you wash it, and it really is a rinse. It's not that bad because it's been soaking in water, so it's softened whatever was on the sides of it or whatever. So now you just make it a sort of a rhythm that, okay, the next time I'm at the sink, no, the thing that was sitting there needs to just be rinsed out, and then put it in the dish rack. Done. This creates the habit of, when you finish using a dish or a cup or something, go to the sink. Don't just leave it where you are. No one's coming to pick it up. This is adulting. Okay, people? And if you want to raise your children to be respectful of their environment around them, you have to be the model of that. You can't expect to teach them these things, and because they'll call you out on it one day and they'll be like, well, you don't do it. But if you do it, if this is your daily movie that you've created and you already have this habit, and you call your child on it and they try to call you out on it, they can't. Why? Because they know that that is the environment you already set up around them. So you are just expecting them to maintain, do their part. We all do our part. We all live in here. We all do our part to make sure that this place feels good, looks good. At the end of the night, make sure all of your dishes, make sure they're out of the sink before bedtime. I can't count how many times people are just, they're freaked out because little critters are crawling around in their house. But you have food, and you have dirty dishes in places. You have dirty dishes in your sink. These are the places that mice, critters, they're going to try to get to. If you're afraid of critters, guess what? Do something about it and make sure you are preventing those critters from having food to eat. It really does not take that much. It's just a matter of starting a new habit and being consistent. When you're cooking, clean up as you go. This way, you avoid a big giant load at the end of making a meal. Not to mention, you have to clean the counter. And who wants to do all of that after you just finished filling yourself and your belly and you get all, whoo, you feel like that after a meal? Who wants to wash dishes at that point, right? You will use a pot, you go to the sink, soap, water, fill it up. It's now, by the time you get to it next, you can be able to really rinse it out. It's not a difficult one. It's not stuck on grease. It's not stuck on food. It's not, things like you just finished using a spoon, okay? Rinse it off. You're right there. It's not a difficult one. So it's just learning a new skill. Like you have to, when you get a job promotion, or when you go to college, or when you go from undergraduate to getting a master's degree, like you're learning skills, and you're learning skills to make your life better. And when you make your life better, you make your child's life better. When you make your child's life better, you make the future and the world around you better. Now, laundry. I've never been this way, but I know people who are, and many people are. I know I come across a lot of people who wash their clothes and they don't want to fold them. They don't want to take them out of the dryer and they don't want to fold them. Well, there are dryers now that have wrinkle care. Okay, so you wash your clothes, you dry your clothes, you put it on wrinkle care. This way, the heat gradually goes down, so that by the time you get to, say you don't get to your clothes right away in the laundry, in the dryer, it's not super wrinkled, right? Because like I know myself, I don't like ironing clothes, so I make sure I get my clothes out as soon as possible. And if I can't, I make sure it's on wrinkle care. So by the time I get my clothes, nothing's all super wrinkled or anything like that. So if I can't get to folding my clothes right away, here's what I suggest. You take your clothes out the dryer, flap, flap, lay it down. clothes, flap, flap, lay it down. Flap, flap, lay it down, and the same thing. And make a pile for your underwear and your socks. Then you start folding these things. Then you get your underwear and your socks, because that's a small pile, right? I don't know if you have a drawer to just put all those things in, or you just fold your socks, put them in where they belong. Your underwear, I just throw, I know this is intimate, but I'm not folding underwear. I'm not going that far, okay? I got an underwear drawer. Just go in there. That's just, life is, come on now. Life is too short. I digress. Everyone has a preference. You get rid of that pile, okay? Now you just have your regular clothes. I mean, if they have to be hung up, just hang them up right away. But if you can't get to that right now, at least the clothes are not going to be wrinkled. And if you need to get them, you're not getting them from a pile of laundry that's been dumped on your bed or dumped on your couch or dumped on a laundry table. Just, now you're looking at, so you can flip through things and get whatever you need. But I suggest that you get into the habit of folding those things, or, if they go into drawers, or hanging them up. Because when baby comes, there's going to be a lot of laundry. There's going to be a lot more laundry. And if you're not used to getting your things together and putting your things away, it's going to be a big mess. And the less messy, the less stressful. The more order, the more peace. And when you do baby's clothes, you wash them, you dry them, you put them in, I put them in sections. So I have onesies and I just put them a pile. Okay, that's a onesie. That's pants. That's a onesie, that's pants. That's a onesie, that's pants, that's shirts. That's a onesie, that's pants, that's shirts. That's a onesie, these are socks. Socks pile. Now you have 4 piles, okay? Then you just, all right, take the smaller pile if you want. Take the bigger pile. I take the smaller pile. Now there's just 3 piles. Now there's just 2 piles. And before you know it's just 1 pile. And you get through that so quickly just by sorting it. You'd be surprised. And it doesn't seem overwhelming anymore, because I see people I've seen people try to fold clothes out of this big bunch of mixed up things, and it's like, you fold one thing and you got to find a place to put it. And then there's another completely different thing and you have to find a place, and then what happens is you get overwhelmed and then you stop the job altogether and then you move on to something else, that's not productive. So you put them in piles, you take care of piles one by one. Before you know it, you have 1 pile, you're done. And that is this episode of Camille WHO, the Child Whisperer. Listen, I'm setting things up for you so you can have some valuable information. These are things that they do not teach in Your Child's First Yearbook, I'm pretty sure. Take care of yourself. Take care of your environment. Set that up. Make it nice and peaceful. Make it nice and productive. And set that life movie up, that daily movie that your child will watch every single day, because that's their life, right? Set it up so that they're just sit right into that movie, that they now become like, oh no, this is just what we do. The more you know. I'm Camille WHO, and I am out.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Camille WHO, the Child Whisperer. A heartfelt thank you to the generous supporters of the Books and Beyond campaign. This series wouldn't be possible without you. If you're a new or expecting parent, I created Better Parent, Better Future just for you. I empower first-time parents to embrace a positive mindset and navigate those early parenting years with confidence and joy. Click the link in the description to learn more, or to find out how we can work together. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and keep leading with love.